Aloha. What's up, Grit Squad? It is the 15th of July, 2025. Good to see everybody on the call that's here live. If you're on replay, thanks for joining in and listening to this. There's going to be some good information, but first off, we'll talk a little bit. We'll do a little recap of last weekend, talk about this weekend, review some film, and then tomorrow we will go over the Master Your Mindset. I know Max and I have been going back and forth trying to get him set up on that. If there's anybody else that's having trouble, make sure you reach out. Luke, I think did we get that taken care of with you? Yeah, so had a little typo in the email, but make sure you guys have watched those videos and done those assignments before tomorrow night. So tonight, the Southern Oregon guys are getting together at the courthouse at 7:30. So we'll keep this pretty close to an hour just in case people have to get there. But yeah, thanks for being here. Appreciate everyone joining. I'm going to pass it. Coach Willis is on mute. Gavin's having some technical difficulties, but I'm going to we'll have Coach Lunt. Coach Lunt, if you want to give us just a little recap. I know the weekend didn't go as planned, wins and losses wise. But what were some of the takeaways or what were some of your thoughts after this past weekend, Coach?
I thought I think we got better, and so it's one of those things where it's hard to measure, as far as winning and losing, it's hard to measure that when you haven't had a lot of time together, practicing. But it's all about improving every game. And we were in every single game. Had to fight back on a few of them to get back into it. But overall, I mean, I thought it was a good starting weekend.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Had to challenge some of you guys at halftime, and I'm glad I had Jack with me because I might have let a few more F-bombs get dropped or embarrass myself a little more just because I was pissed because we were losing to the cavemen. I know Luke is okay with that, Max, some of those future cavemen. But man, as a former caveman, I wanted to beat those guys. Man, if you don't know, do some research. Do some research on the class of 02 out of GP, Luke. Do some research on those cavemen. Finished fourth at the state tournament. We beat Jefferson, beat Churchill, beat Thurston. So there's some legacy there. Won the conference my sophomore year. The last time the Cavemen won the conference championship. We shared it with Roseburg, but that was the last time the Cavemen. So we're expecting big things, Luke, Max. I know some of you guys are going to have things to say about that, those tornadoes. Brian Nunez is going to be a caveman. I know Kale's not going to want that to happen. The Panthers have had kind of a hold on that Southern Oregon Conference lately. But in 02, don't be mistaken, the cavemen were legit. Coach Willis, are you able to unmute and give us a little bit of your takeaways from the weekend?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a great weekend. Was happy with how the guys competed. Really happy on how we stayed positive mentally, especially in the late game Saturday night. Like with the changes, you go thinking that you got two games, you go forfeit. Everybody's kind of hanging around. Then some people leave, and then we got to come back to the gym and play 2 hours later. So for us to go a 5 hour gap and then show up and have to play, and there was no BCD. So kudos to the guys for just the way that they handled that mentally. So I'm very proud of them for that.
Absolutely. That was a tough hand we were given playing a 9 o'clock game, especially after expecting to play at 7 and not having that game. But I thought we handled that extremely well. And yeah, no BCD, no blaming. There wasn't people pointing fingers or no complaining, no one just getting defensive. So good job on that. Coach Jesse is en route to Medford, I believe. So he might be hopping on here in a little bit. but the 15U squad 1 point from a championship. But man, I was so proud of the way we handled that and kept our composure. I'm proud of how Coach Jesse and Coach Willis and myself, for the most part, kept our composure, because you can't play with 6 players, even if the ball hasn't been inbounded. If you pass it to the guy, that should have been a technical foul for having 6 players on the court. They didn't call it. They didn't call that foul with like 8 seconds left in the game, and then they were able to dribble it out, so we didn't have a chance at the end. But I thought I was proud of the way that you guys handled that shitty officiating. I think I might have been the only one on the weekend that got a technical foul. So good job to you guys. I'll owe you guys some push-ups, even though that was the most bizarre flop call that I've ever seen, when Dylan got hit right in the face and then he fell to the floor and they blew their whistle and they called a flop in an AAU basketball game in the first minute of the game. Get the out of here, man. That was just an ego power trip guy just wanting to go like this. Sometimes guys just like to do this. They did it when it started in college. I remember we had, it was either Mario McNabb had one at Lewis and Clark on a 3 where they almost tackled him and they said that he flopped and gave them a point. So good job keeping your composure, fellas. I was proud of the way we handled that. You just got to kind of go in knowing that refs are going to be bad, and you just got to play through that. Do the best of your ability. Try to not have it close, so that way you don't have to have that come into play. But I thought you guys did a great job, not blaming or complaining or pointing fingers at the refs, which would have been easy to do. But I thought you guys did an excellent job on that. So I was proud of you. I was proud of the way we competed, especially since we hadn't had everybody together. I know we were missing a few guys last week. I know Ty and AJ will be gone this week, but back with us for Vegas. We missed Andy this past weekend, but he'll be with us the next 2 weekends. So I'm excited about what we have coming up. I'm going to be watching on Game Changer because I won't be able to be there because I'm in the 808. But yeah, Coach Joel, Jesse, are you able to give us a little bit of your feelings as a recap? Can you pivot your phone for us, since I made everybody else do it? There we go. Can you give us a little takeaway from the weekend, Coach?
No, I was really happy with how everybody competed and supported each other. I think you kind of right when I got on, you kind of commented just a little bit about the refereeing and not making excuses, and the way that the black team game ended in the championship game. We could have lost our crap and could have complained, and we didn't, and we just moved on. And I thought we had a phenomenal experience as a program, and everybody got to support each other, and I was really happy. I had a lot of fun. I haven't had that much fun in coaching in a long time, and just being able to play higher level competition and see you guys compete at the highest level and in the summer league. And so I was really grateful that you guys had good attitudes and were coachable.
Absolutely. I would say the word, I think I put it in the chat or sent it, maybe it's to the parents, but perspective, right? There's worse things in life than losing a game of basketball. You'll hear me say that a lot. Obviously, we all want to win basketball games, but there is worse things. No one's sick, so keep it in perspective. I'd rather lose a close game than beat a team by 40 in the summer. And I know during the year, if I'm coaching, like when I was at Pacific, I wanted to beat teams by 50. I'd rather beat a team by 50 than lose by any amount. But in summer, if you're blowing a team out, you can get away with stuff that you wouldn't be able to get away with if it was a close game. So free throws matter, taking care of the basketball, all those things are accentuated or expanded, I guess, in a tight game situation, where if you're blowing a team out, you can just get away with whatever you want and messing around. but in tight ball games, got to make your free throws, got to take care of the ball. But we got ourselves back into that game. The Pink did that last game. Shout out Zach. I thought Zach played a lot better in the second half of that final game, even when we were all tired. I kind of challenged you guys, and you guys responded very well to that. So good job. Coach Lunt, I think I just made you co-host. If you want to take over and review anything that you want to go over or talk about from film, but you should be able to, if you are wanting to share. Willis is out.
Could I add one thing, Coach
Go for it,
Miner,
Joe.
before Coach Lunt takes over?
Yeah, go for it, Joel.
Yeah, I think we also, as a program, we need to do a little bit better job on the defensive end. I'm watching all three teams with helping each other and also rebounding the ball. So that'll be a focus that I think that we need to go into this weekend as a program for all three teams, and being able to be a little bit more gritty on the defensive side, a little bit more physical, and really taking the opportunities away from the other team. And that's a pride thing, right? You know, rebounding the basketball, getting on the floor, doing the dirty work. That's a pride thing in stuff like that. So really want you guys to think about that as Coach Lunt starts showing you some of this film that he spent some time on here, and just understanding what your job is as a team in relationship to defending the basketball and making sure everybody boxes out, because all three teams need to do a better job at that this coming weekend.
I agree. Defense, transition defense too. Got to stop the ball earlier, and you got to get on the floor for loose balls. Don't try to dribble a loose ball. Secure with two hands. If you have to go to the floor, do it, but don't try to dribble a loose ball. Secure it, get it to your chin. We had some good rebounds, and then we were kind of soft with it after that, and they'd rip us and lay it in. You got to get it to your chin and get your elbows out. Don't swing your elbows, but you can pivot. And if they get one in the nose, you know, that's, I think AJ might have got one in the nose from a player, but you were in there fighting. So you kind of got to expect to get a little bit, but I like that you got right back in there the next time. You didn't back down or play soft just because you got popped in the nose. But yeah, transition defense, rebounding, and just taking care of the basketball. A lot of pressure in club basketball, AAU, they don't call a lot of fouls. So you got to be strong with the ball, and we got to be able to adapt to that. And if they're not calling a lot of fouls, let's use our 7 fouls. Let's get in them, make the referees call fouls, because we are, you know, you can't use your hands too much, but you can use your body, chest them, get a little more physical. But Coach Lunt, passing it to you.
Yeah, and I just want to add on what Coach Jesse has said, because I think it's important. And I know I touched base with or talked about this with the Pink team, but like, hustle plays win. You know, and there was a lot of times I even mentioned this to our team that, you know, first guy on the floor is winning that loose ball. And you've got to play with that edge. And that is something that I know from a recruiting standpoint. Like, you know, when we're looking at players, like if they are not tough, if they're not physical, if they're not willing to take charges, get on the floor for loose balls, like we know that's not going to fit with how we want to play in our style of play. So those things separate you. I know I mentioned this to you guys before, but none of you guys are high major athletes. You're not. You know, you want to see what a high major athlete looks like, go look at Houston, go look at, you know, Duke. I mean, those guys are high major athletes. And what's going to separate you when you're not a high major athlete, or even a low major athlete, what's going to separate you is that toughness and that physicality, and not being afraid to, you know, get your nose in there and you know, scrap a little bit. So those things, I think that's a great point, Coach. I think that's a great thing. I think rebounding, I think we all know from the Pink squad, that was definitely something that killed us. But just bringing that kind of chip on your shoulder mentality. I get it first week. You know, maybe kind of filling each other out and understanding what's going on with your team. But that's really gotta carry over. And we got to be a lot tougher. One of my favorite quotes from Coach Tom Izzo was PP and then TPW. So players play, tough players win. And I think that goes really with the whole mindset is that we're just going to be tougher. Doesn't mean you have to be cheaper or, you know, anything like that, but you just got to play with that mindset. So, okay. I'm going to show, I just put some clips together of some offensive stuff with Bring It, Swing It. I did put some pick and roll stuff in there, and I did put some DHO stuff. I don't know how much we're going to get to it, but I just kind of want you guys, I know, you know, some teams might not be running it as much, but I just want you guys to get a visual with our team and what it looks like. And some of these clips have just like great examples of 2 outs. Some of these clips have, you know, attacking the hip and really get into a defender, spacing concepts, little things like that. But just for you guys to kind of see a visual of what it looks like as far as with our team running it. So if you do have any questions while we're going through these, feel free to reach out or just post it in the chat. But I think this will kind of help you guys just get a visual for what we're for the concepts. And I know that I know Willis' team ran a little bit of it. I know Coach Joel's team you guys ran a lot of it. So I know it's pretty beneficial for you guys, but just wanted to show some examples. I don't know, for some reason it's not letting me share.
I made you the full host. I don't know if that matters. It took me off.
Yep, I got it. All right. So can everyone see my screen?
I can see it. Synergy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to. How do I get out of this? Here we go. Okay. So here's some offensive examples, and we'll start off with. Okay. All right, so this offensive rebound, but here's one of the things with the spacing with the fence action. So that's a kick out on an offensive rebound. All right. So this is Luke right here, and he's at that 45 position. We have our trail. All right, we got Drew in that corner. But I just want you to watch like the patience. See how Luke's he's not in a hurry. This is one thing that I would challenge all teams that are running it, waiting for cutters to get through and being a little bit more patient. It's not like you've got to attack it right away. You can see Luke gives a good little jab. Okay, but you can see Drew's cutting through. Devin's getting to the corner right here. Good movement. Right. And then this is what I love about Luke. If you watch him attack right there, he's getting right into that guy's hip. All right. And he actually has a nice little step through and picks up a foul off that one. But just having patience to allow cutters to get through. Okay. You can see right here, like he's just like, hey, get through. Open up that space. Right. And if you can kind of see right here, right. And this is next level stuff, but looking for the backside with those drags. I mean, look how wide open Jake is off that one. Now Luke does a good job getting to the free throw line and is aggressive on those tacks, but this is where you'll get a lot of action too, is on that backside. Good example of attacking, getting downhill. Okay. That paint to kick out, right? And this is one of the emphasis we always talk about is that 2 out, right? So Lap's got a wide open shot here. Okay. But he makes that extra pass, and that's even a more wide open shot or even a longer closeout. All right. So creating those 2-out situations are important. And Bates got that, knocked down the 3.
Hey, Coach Flant, that was one of the things that the black team really struggled with. I felt like sometimes we were too aggressive at times, and we had that ball shift that we should have made that pass, and hopefully that them seeing this will allow them to want to make that pass this coming weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. And mentality wise is when we say paint to great, okay, what, and this is players, what does that mean? Go ahead and unmute yourself and add your thoughts. What does paint to great mean?
You're trying to get like a paint touch so you can collapse the defense and then find a great perimeter shot or dump down or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So the whole idea is like you want to play with the mentality of yes, you want to be aggressive, but there's a happy medium too where it's like you got to understand if you're aggressive to get into the paint, that's going to equal a great shot off that spray, off that pass, off that dump down. But like that's got to be the mentality. All right. And now one of the things that's really hard, and this is just part of, you becoming a better player is like a lot of times when with younger players, I'll say that, and then they're attacking east-west and they're not really being aggressive as far as getting to the paint. And that's going to not allow anyone to collapse or to step in or to force rotation. So there's a happy medium of being really, really aggressive where you're attacking, but then also knowing that like when you attack and you draw, that's going to open up those great shots or that great ball movement. And so that's got to be your mentality. So like this is a perfect example right here. Now they were pressing us and we did a good job as far as, obviously goes for the steal. And then Lucas, he doesn't stop. He's just attacking. Right. And he gets Lapierre's man in here. He even draws Luke's man. He's pretty much got 3 guys on the ball. Right. And now I know he's peel switching and he's heading into the corner right there. But like, I mean, look at everyone's in the paint right now. Right. Got good spacing out on the perimeter. All right. And then this is just a beautiful 2-out. And here's the selflessness of this group. Okay. Lap shot 38% from the 3. Bates, the guy that knocks down the 3, shot he had a better year last year, but he still was in the low 30s. But this is just a selfless play, right? Like Lap knows he's a higher percentage 3-point shooter, but it's a better shot. All right. So like it's being aware of those things and being selfless with those things is important. All right. That's a good knockdown. So playing with that mindset of getting the ball to the paint, which is going to equal great shots or great ball movement. Ball swung. So this is our little back series. Okay, when we're looking at the back screen, now we're getting in the pick and roll. Okay. So we're running this little action on the backside. You can watch the cutter coming through. He's gonna get a screen right there. But what I want you to watch right here is off this pick and roll, good engagement. Okay. Versus hard hedge. Brody does a really, really good job of getting off. Anytime you're playing against aggressive coverage, okay, when you're a screener, you gotta set that screen and you gotta get off of it as fast as possible. Okay, you gotta extend the play. All right, so Luke does a good job. He keeps his dribble, does a good job getting into that guy's hip. I think he gets a foul here. Okay, but you can see off this backside action too with Brody. Brody's a screener. By him getting off and rolling hard, okay, my shake man, who's tagging on that? This guy is. See where he is? He's got to sit in the paint off that, and that's where you got to lift up. All right. Now, if Luke didn't get fouled on that one, he's got a wide open separation, and we got a shake pass right there for either a 3 or a drive attack, or Brody, he can now seal. All right, and we've got a paint catch inside with our big. So getting off that thing, and then I thought Luke did a really good job of really getting into that getting into the hedger's hip and drawing a foul. But that's being aggressive and not afraid of contact. Good. Good separation. That's really, really good right there. Okay. But see the patience. So watch. Cutters are going through. Okay. Kind of he stunts at him and recovers, but just keeps his dribble. Good little crossover right there. Okay. And you can see with the space right here that Lucas has created by playing in that corner, right? Like he stunts and then he's getting back and Drew just makes a great read at the rim. Okay. It's an easy layup. Swing it, fence, cutters. Look at the drag, wide open. That's great basketball right there. Ball gets swung, good spacing. Look where Luke's defender is. Drew makes a really good read, but he's just patient with the ball, not in a hurry. Okay, creates that long closeout right there, shot fake. All right, good read with the help. Drags in behind him, wide open three. But that's another example of that's two paint to great attacks right there. Little back action. Get a little pick and roll. See how fast? Look at that. And this is fours, big guys. Aggressive coverage, right? Does a good job engaging the defender. Okay. Goes over top. Look how fast he gets off of that. Now look where the tag goes. Good shake. Good patience at the rim. That was really good. All right. So we talked a little bit about this pink squad with our last game when we were setting more of those middle pick and rolls. Okay. So this is a good example. And question for you. All right. And we're playing the same team. Why do you think we did more middle pick and rolls compared to side pick and rolls versus Monterey? Anyone have any ideas why?
Would it be to try to like throw the on-ball defender like off balance, kind of? Because you're saying that back screen and forcing him to move one way. So like Justin had multiple shots off that where he just was quicker than the defender and the screen was there just kind of to slow him down.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a little bit of it. What's the coverage that you've seen out of the team that we've been playing in this game? Anyone have any ideas?
Hedge.
What kind of yeah, so we would call that a hard coverage, right? So being aggressive, so a hard hedge. They really try to get out on those side pick and rolls and be really aggressive. I know you saw Luke pick up a foul. So when you're playing against a team that's going to be aggressive, okay, with their hedges, getting the ball in the middle of the floor becomes an equalizer, right? Because now it's like there's so much space, right? I mean, you can see right here with Jake attacking the right side, the guys in the corner. Now it's harder to hedge off this action, right? You guys see that? So he's still trying to hedge. He's got a bad angle just because of where the pick and roll is, and then you can see off that backside. Look where the tag guy is. We've got good spacing with Drew, but that was one of our adjustments. Was they were going to be a lot more aggressive with their pick and roll coverage. So we wanted the ball to be in the middle of the floor, and that was the same thing we did with what do they call the caveman? Caveman is they were being aggressive, so we just wanted to get the ball more in the middle of the floor, right, with those pick and roll action. And you can see right here, Jake does a good job attacking, okay, the one side, but look at the spacing on the backside. See how he's dragging, he's lifting. It's where the natural tag's going to be. Brody does a good job getting off of it. Okay, created a long closeout, get to the paint, That's pretty easy. Gets off of it. Way to keep his dribble. There it is again. Looks like the same exact play, doesn't it? But that's all just paint to great, right? Getting in there. Good aggressive take by Jake. Knowing where that drag's going to be. He catches it, gets stampede, good 2-foot jump stop in the paint. Lifts up, knocks it down. Good dump. Now, I think that was just one just showing a little bit of us attacking the press. Here's the one thing, like, if you know anything about, I mean, we got a few action with press breaker, but like more importantly, it's just, this is like a mindset, right? So they're pressing us and like, look at Jake, he just gets right into the guy's hip. Like that's a foul all the time. Now I understand we don't have the greatest officials. Okay. So they might let that get away, but like that's a foul, right? But a lot of times what I see with a lot of kids is they'll catch, and then what they'll do versus pressing teams is they allow off this catch, they just stop. All right. And it's like they allow themselves to get just suffocated by the pressure, where we play with a different mentality. We're like, boom, we're going to go right at you. Right. And we're going to look to pick up that foul and be aggressive versus the defense. But that's just a mindset too. Here's another example of that mindset. This is when we played Laterno. It's a really good team from Texas, but like Jake's just getting right downhill and just gets right into his hip. That's a foul. Swing it. Good movement, good separation. Here's a little DHO. Keeps his dribble. Reattacks. Good drag. I know we don't knock that one down, but like just the patience, right? Get him through. Cutters are going. Look at, bumps him. We call that, so this little move that Drew does right here, we call this ace. So he's just acing, he's just separating. Okay. All right. Gonna look for a DHO. They're aggressive with their guarding. So that would have either been a curl off that, or Jake takes the back door. What we call those a dirty DHO. So he cuts back door. Drew keeps his dribble. Reattacks. Good spacing on the backside with the drag. This could have been another what situation off that drag? Anyone know?
2 out.
Yep, another 2 out, and even a 1-2 out, and then another one right here. But just creating that ball movement. Being aggressive. It's one of our drop fours. Devin was a little soft right there. DHO keeps his dribble. Good 2-foot jump stop. Good drag. There's a 2 out. Good attack. Good spacing. Another one. Good patience. So you can see right here, okay, off this one, where's from a spacing perspective, where's anyone know where our breakdown is?
Does Luke got to be on the fence?
No, because Jake just goes right to that side. So Jake hits him right there, which is fine. And we're looking for a post up. Then he gives it right back out. And now we're trying to get the ball swung. Where's the breakdown? Yeah, Zach's got to be higher up here at that 45. We already have that corner filled. And you can watch Luke, right when he catches it, he's like, hey, your ass should be up here. So still keeps his dribble, looks for the DHO. Good cut. Like I said, just everything's patient. Playing off 2. Good float. Good ball movement, side to side. All right. So on this one, this is what we had talked about this. So the last couple times you'd seen off this DHO, what was the cutter doing off the DHO? Anyone know? It happened twice already. Anyone know? No one knows. So the last two times that we've ran a DHO, the cutter's gone backdoor. All right. Zach did it once and then Jake did it once too. All right. So on this one, okay, since they're jamming it and they're being aggressive off this DHO, what should have happened is Luke should have came to a jump stop, should have held the ball, and Zach should have just curled off his ass. Right. But what happened was he gave it to him early versus aggressive D, and we almost turned it over right there. Okay, good swing. Way to get in the guy's hip. Good shot fake. Get to your spot. Good old board. But when you're playing, it gets more aggressive off those DHOs. It's either got to be a hard back door, it's got to be a curl. And handlers, you got to make sure, okay, that if he's coming up, you're not giving it to him, or that's going to be an automatic turnover. Let him curl off of it. Pick and roll. Okay, so anyone know what kind of coverage this is?
Is it like an ice or a?
Yeah, it's like the NBA, they call it ice. We call it downing, okay, at our level too. All right. So pretty much what they're trying to do is they're zoning it up to just try to keep this on the side. Okay. So anytime you're seeing any kind of action like this, you still want the screen, okay, on an ice or a downing. You want to make sure that his spacing is okay right now. He could be one more step over. All right. And as you can see, this was one of the things in the scouting report, since it was so early, we weren't quite sure on how they were going to guard that side pick and roll. But usually in these situations, what you want to do is screener, which have been Brody in this one, once he sees him jump, okay, he just wants to, instead of getting his butt to that corner or butt to the sideline, it's like setting a flat screen. So he just wants to get right up in him and screen him and with that angle, which now allows the handler to be aggressive where he can attack, okay, the screener's man, or he can look to snake, all right, and get inside that action off that. All right, now we hit the short roll, which was a good adjustment right there. But ideally in those situations when you see teams icing or downing, okay, you want to set that thing flat, allow the handler to either attack that right side or to snake that thing, and then you're getting into that action off the weak side. But this is a good short roll by Brody. Okay, found some good space, good attack. Good stampede. So we work on this a lot. So especially if you've got what Jake has right now is he has an advantage off that space to attack this guy. So this is what we would call a stampede. So look at his feet. His feet are already moving. So right when he catches, boom, he's going. Good attack. Good feed to the 4. Got a foul. Paint to great. Little stagger action.
Hey, coach, I got a question for you.
Yep.
What, when we have the three guys up top and they're denying the middle so that they don't want you to swing it back to the other side,
Yep.
what do we want those guys to do? I was telling them to cut. It only happened a couple of times, but I was telling them to cut back door. What type
Yep.
of emotion would we be looking at there? If you can
Yeah. So
help us out.
yeah, that's a great question. So right, what coach is talking about is, let's just pretend this guy's in this lane right here. Okay. And he's denying him. So what you need to do in those situations is just, this guy's just you got to create a cut. Okay. So you guys probably don't know who Barry Sanders is, but we don't want a Barry Sanders cut. So that means, if you know anything about Barry Sanders, that's juke moves left and right. Like this guy, if he's denied, you're just going to cut. You're going to get down here to the paint, right, to the smile, all right. And then what this guy's going to do, who's the next 45, is he's going to look to take that angle, right? So instead of cutting with a rounded angle, what you want to do is you want to cut on a straight line right here, and then you're either going to pop out, or if that guy is above you, then you're going to cut back door too. Does that make sense, coach? And usually with this cut, they might look to deny this one, but that second one, we very rarely ever had any issues with that. But you just, this guy on that 45, you just can't round that cut. You got to go into your defender, and then you got to look to pop up. Okay. Like an L cut.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then ideally, Luke, in this situation, when he cut back door, he's going to look to fill that opposite side. So he would look to fill back up off this one, and then just read. Good patience. That's a good take. And that was good exit by the 4. So on that baseline penetration, you saw him, he lifted. Okay. Watch that one more time. Okay. So, yep, does a good job lifting off that one. Bates should have done a better job of getting to the corner, but he knew that was going to either go up by Luke, or Dev was going to try to punch that. So he stayed in there to hit the offensive glass. And here's another example, guys. Like, this is where you cannot be afraid of contact. Like, good between the legs, and then watch his first attack. He gets right into that guy's hip. That's a foul all day. But you got to be aggressive, right? Like we would tell our guys, foul them before they foul you. You got to get right into that guy, get into his hip. Good cutters. Good cut on the back door. Good patience in the paint. And that's here's the one thing. And I was talking to Coach Jesse and I were talking about this. Like, one of the things I see a lot, especially in these damn AAU tournaments, like, just be patient with the ball. Like, a lot of times you guys get in these situations, and like, rather than just pivot, be strong with the ball, rip the ball outside of the box. Like, it's like you just throw the ball away. Like, just be strong with the freaking ball. Look at him, he's pivoting, right? He almost loses it, but he's outside the box. Ball's high, ball's low, but he's not in a hurry. Like, you guys got to learn to be, when there's pressure or anyone on you, like, you guys have you have a pivot foot. You can buy space, don't swing elbows, but keep the ball, like we worked on that one day down in Eugene, keeping the ball outside of the box. So rip below the knees, rip above, your shoulders, but just be strong with the ball. Like, remember that we were watching that one game, and the kid caught the ball, and like, there was no pressure, there was nothing, and he just threw the ball to the other team. It's like, dude, just chill, like, kick back. You don't need to be in such a hurry. But that's one of the things that I see a lot of you guys, you get so sped up. hey, pivot, move without the ball, rip, be strong. Another middle pick and roll. Good skip. DHO. All right. So do you remember the last time they DHO together where he almost lost the ball? Okay, so watch the adjustment here. This is what I was talking about with that dirty action. So we knew they were going to be aggressive, right? So he gets there. All right, and he's going to look to curl. Now here's the advanced move by Luke right here. Watch his pivot. And they do this shit all the time in the NBA, guys. Go watch the NBA when they play off get actions or they play off this DHO stuff. Is see how he pivots off of them, which now it's like setting it is setting a screen, okay? And I'm allowed to pivot, so that's never going to be called any illegal or legal screen off that action, okay? But that's just great. It's great two-man basketball right there. It's a good cut. Gets to the paint. 2 foot. Floater game. I know he misses that one, but that's a good shot right in the paint. All right, here's some of that get action. So we tried working on this with the pink squad, but just having the 4 just flash up. So Dylan, okay, Zach, this is like great action for you guys to play off of, right? So how's he guarding it right here? So if I'm Luke right now, he makes a good read. He goes under the ball right now, which is, see how Luke just stops behind. Devin does a good job. Should have kept his dribble. Good 2 out. 1 more. It's a great little DHO action for that mid-range shot. Kept his dribble separated. Good separation. Off 2. At open 3. See the shake? Did you guys see that? That was really good right there. Dev did a good job getting off of it. Engage them. Gets off. See where the tag? Shake. Late to the party. Wide open 3. It's pretty good. All right, last one. And that was another example, okay, of that 2 out. But just this is what, and I think with what Coach Jesse was talking about earlier, like Lap's attacking, he's doing a great job, but he knows he's just going to get to the paint, get to that 2 foot, paint to great, right? Opens up that wide open 3. We had a good 2 out. Now, Bates was feeling himself. I think he went on a 9-0 run by himself. And I think this was his ninth or his 9th point he had scored. Actually, I'm sorry, it was 8 because he hit 2 threes and then he hit that little mid-range shot off that DHO. But like, I mean, hey, he's feeling it right now. I know he had an opportunity to go 2 out with Jake, but like, you got to feed the well till the water runs dry. All right, having that mindset. Find guys that are knocking down shots and get them the ball. Middle pick and roll. Look at the shake. Good attack. Good spacing. Patience in the paint. That's a nice shot. Okay. All right. That's all I got. I don't want to bore you guys too much. Hopefully some of that stuff you can kind of see visual and be able to apply for this weekend. But just being controlled and being patient. All right. Like if there's one thing I'd like to see all the teams just we call it POA all the time, having a plan of action, right? Like you don't need to be in such a hurry. Just get to 2-foot jump stop. You got time, pivot. Okay. Guys are spaced out. Guys are moving without the ball, but just being more controlled. You know, I know I was I sent Dylan a cool little Dylan, did you watch that video I sent you?
I haven't yet, but I'm going to.
Okay. But really emphasize playing off 2 feet. And you know, how the best in the world, it becomes such an equalizer, all right, when you play against longer defenders. Okay, like who's the best player in the world to play off 2 feet? Anyone got any guesses? Anyone?
Jimmy Butler.
Huh? No.
Bronson.
Brunson. All right. I mean,
LeBron.
Brunson is, huh? LeBron?
Who said that? Willis?
Probably Willis. Probably Willis. But if you go watch Brunson play, like he's not the tallest guy, he's not the most athletic guy, he's extremely skilled, but like what equalizes where he can really do damage inside the paint is by playing off 2. I mean, it's unbelievable. You know how good and how efficient he is just by getting to the paint, being controlled, using his body, getting a 2-foot jump stop, using his leverage, getting guys off balance, and then making them pay. You know, so that was one of the things I was hammering home with Dylan. I was hammering home with Ty, like being controlled in the paint, especially for guys like Ty and Dylan, where you guys have some height. Like the world is yours. It's your oyster if you can get into that paint, be controlled. Now you got a shot fake. Now you got a little jump hook. Now you got a little Kobe fade. Like, but you're more controlled and you're more balanced. Where the higher levels you guys play at, you're going to have to learn how to really be controlled when you get to the paint. So that's a challenge, you know, for all you guys this weekend is really try to focus on being controlled when you're attacking the paint. Don't be in such a hurry.
I'm gonna call on Ty Zimmerman. Ty, unmute. I want you to tell me what POA stands for. Do you remember what POA stands for?
I do not.
Okay,
I'm not gonna lie.
Zach Eddy, can you pick him up? I see you got your pen and paper.
Plan of action.
Good job, Zach. Way to pick up Ty. See, he had a pen. I saw he had a pen. Even if he didn't write that down, he knew the answer though. But taking notes, writing things down is important. But having a plan of action is important when you get into the paint. Poise, patience, purpose. Poise, not freaking out when you get in there, especially in club. You got all those hands, people reaching in, slapping at you. Having some poise, being patient, keeping your dribble alive. But definitely that was good stuff, Coach. I love watching Lucas Gray and Luke Winkler play. Not very big. If you watch the boxers, Jake Blazona, who was doing those stampede and getting going with he's under 6 foot. He's got if you don't follow him on Instagram, you might want to follow Jake Blazona on Instagram. He does a post or 2 a day, it seems like, where he's talking about the most recent one. It was a guy talking trash to him and how he just lit him up. But if you guys don't know, I can drop his Instagram in our chat. But get around those guys, especially if you live in the Portland area. I would definitely talk to those guys about getting some lessons, trying to train with some of those guys, because they are where you guys want to be. At least most of you guys want to play in college. So having the opportunity to be around those guys. I know some of you guys met. I think Lucas came to a workout. So yeah, getting in the gym with guys that are better than you will help you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, everyone's heard that quote that if you're the best player in the gym, you're in the wrong gym. Find better players to get yourself around. And how do you do that? If you're the best player at your high school, then maybe you do got to go play other places and find other gyms, because if you're the best player, you can get away with crap that's not going to help you be a better player. So make sure that you guys are getting around people that know what they're doing and can put you through workouts. If you just go into the gym and shoot around for 45 minutes or an hour, that's not working out. So don't get that twisted. Don't think that you're working out if you just go shoot around for an hour. You got to get quality reps. You got to go game speed. I posted one on Twitter today because I heard people yelling, "Go game speed." And they think that just means going balls out, just going as fast as you can. But I put game speed's not one speed. You got to be able to change pace. You got to be able to go fast, slow down, go from a 10 to a 2, and then accelerate. So game speed is not one speed. But Coach Willis, do you want to give us any closing shots? I know some guys down there are about to get practicing in Southern Oregon. Looks like Andy might already be at the spot. Kale's driving there. Looks like Max is in the car headed to the courthouse. But Coach Willis, what do you got?
I hope everybody took good notes. Listen to Coach Lloyd break down how to bring his swinging stuff. Definitely stuff that we need to look at and apply to how we're playing. So I hope everybody was paying attention.
Ion, can you unmute?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what the G in grit stands for?
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Okay, good. Well done. Just not worried, just making sure you're dialed in. AJ Zimmerman.
Yo.
The R in grit.
Resilience.
Resiliency. Good. Resilience. Being able to bounce back from adversity. Good. Kaysen, what is the I?
Intensity.
Intensity. Let's go. And the T, since Coach Willis is on mute, give us the T, Coach Willis.
Togetherness.
Togetherness. Let's go. It's going to be a great weekend coming up. I'll be following some of it along on the Game Changer app. So appreciate everyone that could join in live here tonight. Get a good workout in down there, Southern Oregon guys. We will do discuss the Master Your Mindset stuff tomorrow. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, talk to a friend. If you're having trouble, you can reach out to me, but do that stuff. That is a valuable piece of this. It's extremely valuable. And I pay for it. So I want you guys to take advantage of this. This is a big thing that can differentiate you from the other players that don't have it. You can train your body, your mind, and your craft. Every club team's working on their craft, doing ball handling and shooting. Some teams are doing push-ups and crunches, but very few teams are working on the mindset. If pros do it, if guys in the NBA are paying all this money to train their mind, why would we not be doing it? You don't rise to the level of your situation, you fall to the level of your preparation. So if you guys think you're going to get into the big game and all of a sudden just rise up and perform at a higher level, you're wrong. Will sink to the level of your preparation, and preparation is when success meets opportunity. Success is when preparation, your work that you put in, you don't wait to work, you work while you wait. So you put in the time, and then that opportunity presents itself, you're ready. I know I had lunch or coffee the other day with a guy named Ben Voog. Probably nobody on this call knows who Ben Voog is. Coach Willis does. Ben Voog played at a school called Siuslaw High School in Florence, Oregon. You guys know where Florence is? That's not a very big place. It's over on the coast, but he had a great month of July going into his senior year, changed his life. Ended up getting a scholarship offer to LSU. Played at LSU when they made it to the Final Four with a guy named Big Baby and I think Tyrus Thomas. They made the Final Four. He was the 7th man as a true freshman, transferred back to U of O, finished at Northwest Christian University, but he was ready. He worked his ass off, and then when that July came around, he had a couple good tournaments, and he literally changed the course of his future by balling out. So make sure that you guys are ready, because you can't just wait to work. You have to work while you wait. So put in the time now. Don't worry about if you see other players that you think you're better than getting offers. All you can do is worry about what you can control, which is putting in the preparation, and then the results will come and take care of themselves. So stay the course, keep working, putting in time. Hopefully your bodies are a little bit healthy, a little recovered from the weekend. So I know those guys down in Southern Oregon are going to get a little bit of run in tonight. But if you're up in the Portland area, I'd probably do a little bit of cardio, at least go for a little jog. But be ready to go because you guys saw it that last weekend. That's a lot of basketball. Coming up, we will have all of this year's going to be freshmen and this year's going to be sophomores. As long as the games don't conflict, they will be playing with the black, and then we'll still have AJ, Zach, Miller, and Tyler Eddy and Brandon Lee swinging between those two teams. Elijah, Cooper, Gagnon, and Kale not going to be in Vegas. It's looking like we're going to have two teams, a 17 and a 15U in Vegas. Because I know Dylan has to go to college. And other people have family trips and things. So this weekend we'll be communicating all this. So don't expect to know everything right here. We'll make sure we're communicating with you where you need to be and when. But just remember that, think about that, and let's get after it. Let's get better, push yourselves. Reach out to me if you guys need anything. I'm soaking up some sun and the waves and all that fun stuff over here, but hopefully you guys get better tonight and let's go. All right, that's all we got. You guys are free to get out of here. We'll see you soon. See you guys. See you,
Thank
Coach
you.
Will. You're welcome. You're welcome. See you, Zach.
Thank you.